Take us in.
I like those Ole Miss colors.
I know.
See, I'm liking it.
See that she has her Steelers, and I've got my Ole Miss.
Skin is itching.
You're allergic.
These colors don't feel right.
See, there's hope for everybody.
I know, right?
Is there?
Jesus saves.
They say when you're itching, you're healing.
Oh.
You ever? Look, you break a bone, you cut yourself, you start itching. You ever have surgery done? It starts itching.
There's also other forms of itching that are not.
Okay. Right.
And that's kind of the
signs
one that
of
I'm
infection.
signs of infection. So that's where we're at. We're at infection level right now.
I got it. Moving on.
Welcome, guys, to another episode of Hoot and Holla. Glad you can be with us this week. This is a little different because we're a little off angle. So if I look weird, I apologize because I'm trying to locate the camera. We have a guest here today joining us, Scott Burns of 7 Days for the Troops. Almost messed that up. And so we're going to find out what 7 Days for the Troops is, and we're going to learn a little bit about Scott today. And we appreciate you coming in, Scott, and letting us do this. Is first interview ever. I've interviewed people for like jobs, but never like this. So hopefully it won't be as awkward as I feel.
Any good interview is just a good conversation.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well, and that's the way we like to. If you've watched the podcast before, you know that's where we like to conduct our podcast. Is just friends hanging out. You know, conversing.
So you're already a professional.
Yeah. We was talking about Ole Miss and Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
No, nobody mentioned Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Well, I'm mentioning Mississippi State because I am outnumbered here, guys.
Uh-huh.
Go Dogs. You need something.
Now we're itching.
Y'all okay? Y'all all right?
We'll be all right.
You holding in that seat real good?
Hey, we're good until the last game of the season. I'll say go Dogs, except for the last game of the season.
I got you.
And I hope y'all break a leg.
And
not really. I I didn't mean that.
Yeah. Well, it means good luck. You know?
Okay. Yeah, that's what it means.
That's what it means.
Going on stage. Yeah.
In case you don't know, we Mississippi State and Ole Miss play at the end of the year. Thanksgiving. Normally but they changed it one year, did they not?
Yeah, 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year they changed it, but I don't know what it is this year, but we have to look. But anyway, playing the Egg Bowl, and you know, who has the trophy now?
Ole Miss.
Y'all have the trophy now?
Yeah, we went to Starkville and took it.
So brought it back home where it goes.
Nice.
In our trophy case.
Well, okay. It's probably not a very nice trophy case.
Okay.
Probably low grade. Probably one of those ready to build from Walmart.
IKEA.
Got a wobble. Made in China.
Never mind.
Okay, enough about this. So, Scott, again, thank you for coming here and giving us an opportunity to learn more about 7 Days for the Troops. So, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am Scott Burns. I'm married. I've got a wife, and I have a 23-year-old daughter, an 8-year-old son, and a 2-year-old son.
Woo.
Got 2 dogs, and I will tell you my 2 boys are both adopted. Okay. And got both of them, was able to bring them home at birth. So I mean, awesome. they're mine, and I awesome. Love them to death. And my family and my house is never clean.
Okay.
My family is clean. Hold on, let me back up.
Yeah.
My family is clean. My house always stays a mess.
I have questions.
I've got the mindset, if you are coming to my house because it's got to be clean, then you're not coming for the right reason, so just stay away.
Yeah.
But if you don't mind a dirty house and loud kids, then you're welcome at my front door any day.
Not dirty, lived in.
Lived in.
That's what I say.
No.
Yeah,
lived in. If your house looks like a palace when I come to it, I'm leaving.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna mess it up as soon as I walk in.
You don't really live here. Although I will say, if you want to find out how clean somebody really is, or if they're just filthy, or if it's just they live in it, go to the bathroom. Always ask to go to the bathroom.
That's it.
That will tell you really who these people are.
And you're right. Yeah. I mean, it will, because you'll keep a messy house, but most good normal people won't keep a messy bathroom.
What's normal?
Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm trying to say.
I don't think I know what normal is.
No, never experienced it.
We're all normal. We're our own normal.
I like that.
I'll talk about that with my therapist later.
Well,
Anyway.
hey, I say we're on our own normal, and we all have a little bit of crazy in us. It's just how we manage that crazy.
Yeah.
Every time I see somebody say something happens and they say, well, he's insane or he's got issues, we all got issues.
Oh, yeah.
It's how we handle those issues that make us different.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I am a Marine Corps veteran. I served in the Marines from 1991 to 1995.
Okay.
I got injured when I was in the Marines, and because of that injury, they told me, hey, you got to get out.
Right.
And 22 years later and 22 surgeries later, I got tired of taking pain pills all the time and had my left leg amputated below the knee.
Man.
Wow.
And so now I coach archery at Tupelo Christian Preparatory School, and I help with a video class. I don't call it teaching because, I instruct a video class. There are teachers that went to school and learned a lot more about being teachers than I did, but I have fun with it. And that's me in a nutshell.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Very cool.
So how often does the teacher become the student when it comes to the video class?
I learn something all the time, especially with technology as it is today. Because I grew up, I had a background in working as a videographer for news channels, which is what kind of got me back into Tupelo. Is I went to work for WTVA as a videographer. And what I learned video and then to what I know with video now, back then you had to be able to work out and carry about 500 pounds because the cameras were huge.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, the massive.
And you would have to stand there doing if you had to do holding it on your shoulder, like I would video sports. And you can't use a tripod video sports.
Man. Wow.
And now your iPhone, or your phones that are out there today, I have a better camera than probably the cameras I used back then.
Yeah.
Wow.
And what I like about video is not only you can hear the story, but you can see the story.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes if your video is what your video should be, you never have to say a word.
Yeah.
Because the video will tell a story.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is wrong with some of our media today is they try so hard to tell the story and to letting people see the story.
Right. Yeah.
And this podcast would work a little different if we didn't say words.
This is true.
Yeah.
Well, podcasts are all about talking though, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you're not doing a video cast.
No, that's just true.
So, I mean, you're an asset to the community.
Well, thank you.
Look at that.
I'm going home to tell my mom that.
There you go.
She'll be proud.
So my mom, an asset to this community.
You're an asset. There you go.
She's going to be like, sure.
Okay.
sure you are. You like to think you are.
Man.
So tell us, what is 7 Days for the Troops?
Well, 7 Days for the Troops is an event that started as a one-time. I was sitting at home 16 years ago, almost 17 years ago now, and I was really beating myself up because I couldn't be in the military anymore. And I tried all kind of jobs, and I didn't really like anything, and I wanted to feel like I had accomplished something and I was doing something. And I saw a story on the news where these two kids, look like teenagers, not even, not when I say kids, they were young, were raising money and collecting old cell phones to buy calling cards to send overseas.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, and that was in the height of the Gulf War. And I was like, well, I can still help by doing some kind of fundraiser and helping them raise money.
Right.
And I had done this event a couple of times where I had camped out on different things and raised money for 3 or 4 days at a time. And one time I did it for 8 days, and I had set up where I said, hey, I'm going to do it for 4 days. And in getting ready for that event, somebody came to me and they said, well, I remember you did this event for like 8 days one time, and you're only going to give the military 4. And I said, all right, I'll do it for a week. And it just the way it, because of my schedule, I said, I'll do it from this day to this day. And I picked it from Sunday to Sunday. Well, if you do the math on that, and I did that for like probably 4 or 5 years. Well, Sunday to Sunday is 8 days.
Yeah.
But I digress. So I did the first event, and we had a lot of fun. I built a tower in the parking lot of the mall at Barnes Crossing. And I camped out on top of it for 7 days. Actually 8, but it was supposed to be 7 days.
Yeah.
Right.
And that year it was just called Support the Troops event. And that was it. It was just going to be a one-time deal.
Mhm.
And then the next year rolled around and was talking to the people at the mall. And they're like, hey, what do you think about doing your event again? And I'm like, well, I really haven't thought about it. But, I mean, it was a success the first year. We'll do it. They said, but what do you think about bringing it inside the mall? I'm like, wait a minute. You want me to camp out in the mall for 7 days?
Sounds like fun.
It would be, except for the whole fact of my whole my premise of the event was I stay in one spot.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I thought about it and I said, okay. But the whole reason they wanted me to do it is the very first year I did this event, the last day of the event, I tried all week to get my wife to come up on the tower.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could not get her to come up there. I mean, it's 15 feet in the air.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, I had the scaffolding is what you went up. You didn't have like
Right.
a ladder or a lift or anything to go up.
Mm-hmm.
And she finally comes up there.
Yeah.
So I said, I need help because I was getting worn out. It was the last day. I need some help by taking stuff down. And so she comes up there and she's going to help me take it down. Well, then it starts raining. And so we get in the tent, like a little 2-man tent, and we're sitting in the tent just waiting for the rain to go by. Well, then the winds pick up.
Oh.
Come to find out, it was like tornadic winds came through that blew it destroyed the
Wow.
tent that was on my tower. I mean, it was pretty. The security guard at the time that was at the mall said, hey, I was down here just here when the tower blew where I could help you come up. So the mall was like, hey, for safety reasons, let's move it inside. And I thought it was really the dumbest thing. I was like, this is not going to be, this won't have the same effect,
Right.
But then when I'm sitting in the food court of the mall, I realized that 4 or 5 times a day, I have a captive audience.
Totally different
Yeah.
audience. The whole time.
That
Yeah.
are rotating. They don't have to stop, go out of their way to come. They're already there.
Right.
And so it's turned out 16 years later, we are still doing the event. And it's, last year, we decided instead of it being an event where I raise money and I send it to Cell Phones for Soldiers, or I send it to Wounded Warriors, or Purple Heart Homes has been one that I've really, the last 8 years, sent most of the money to them. I said, why don't we make it our own 501c3, our own nonprofit? And then that way I had a personal stake in where the money went. I knew I could meet the veterans that were getting the money. I could see, and people could see exactly where the money was going.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so this year we decided to form our own 501c3. And we've raised enough money thus far that we provided a track chair to a veteran in Tampa, Florida. I've done the event in Tampa, Florida, Denver, Colorado, and in Tupelo, and in where did I do it last? Monroe, Louisiana.
Okay.
Yeah.
So far I've done it in like 6 different states. But this year we've raised enough money to buy 2 track chairs for veterans, which are $16,000 a piece.
Wow.
Awesome.
We also raised $30,000 for a group called Warrior Bonfire, and they take veterans on different kinds of trips. They deal strictly with Purple Heart recipients, and the bonfire, they go sit around a bonfire is the main thing at the end of the night, where they get to just talk to each other. People that's been there that understand. And so we were able to be a part of that. And our goal is we want to raise enough money to buy 1 more chair, which means between now and November the 11th, which gives me a month and a half, we would like to raise $16,000 so that we can let a veteran know on Veterans Day that he will be the recipient of a chair.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And
That is
so
really awesome.
that's 7 days for the troops in a nutshell. And I could sit here, I mean, I could sit here for hours and talk about what it means to help veterans, but most veterans aren't going to ask for help.
No.
Most veterans will talk to their wife or somebody, a friend, about a need they have, but very few times will they personally go and ask for help. And my personal story is after I had my leg amputated, I was raising money for Purple Heart Homes. And what they do is they go in and rebuild houses. They make them handicap accessible, anything from a roof to like going in and widening doorways so that somebody can get in and out of their bathroom with a wheelchair.
Which is a huge deal.
Which is even bigger than I would have even, I mean, I didn't even really think about it after I lost my leg. It was like, okay, I'll be able to, and the hardest thing for me to do was have to ask for help to go to the bathroom because I couldn't get through my doors.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something about a man not being able to go stand up on his own to use the bathroom. I'm sorry, but that's just, there's something about that.
No,
and so some friends of mine had reached out to Purple Heart Homes and said, hey, we know that Scott's raising money for you, but did y'all know that his house is not handicap accessible? And so they called me up and they said, hey, Scott, we want to come fix your house. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And they're like, why not? I said, well, because I'm raising money for you and I can't raise money for you and then you come fix my house.
Yeah.
And so they went back and forth with me and they kind of, just kind of let it go. And then I get a call back from them and they said, Scott, we're coming to fix your house. And I was like, we've had this discussion. I was like, it cannot happen. They said, well, look, there's a guy that's going to ride his motorcycle from Arizona across the United States up to somewhere up north, and he's going to stop at fire stations along the way, and he's collecting money for your project. I said, all right. In that case, I think I can go with that. I did not realize until after they came in and fixed my house, it made a difference in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, it allowed me to have freedom. But the thing that it helps more than anything was when I saw how it affected my wife and my daughter, that I realized that during certain times of the day, they would not leave the house because they knew, well, it's time for him to take a shower. It's time for, and they were afraid because they had seen me fall after my surgery that I would fall and get hurt and nobody would be there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I noticed my wife and daughter were leaving and going places and not stressing so much when I was at home by myself.
Yeah.
And so it hit me then that when somebody comes in and helps a veteran, it doesn't just help that veteran, it helps that family. Yeah. And when you help a veteran, you help the family, then you help the community, because the veteran gets more active in the community. The family gets more active in the community. And so when we decided to continue on the process of 7 days for the troops, our goal at the end of the year is, I mean, right now I have $43 in the 7 days for the troops account. I have no issue saying that. We've raised 40 something thousand this year, plus what we helped Warrior Bonfire raise. Our goal at the end of the year is not to say we've got $5,000 in the bank or $20,000 in the bank. Our goal is to say we've helped X number of veterans.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes a lot of nonprofits get caught up with that bottom line dollar. If we, and I don't care who you are, if you're a nonprofit and at the end of the year you've got $100,000 in the bank, then to me personally, in my opinion, you need to look at your business plan.
Yeah.
Because if you're in the business of helping people and you've got money sitting in the bank, then somebody's not getting help.
Yeah.
And so I say all that to say, for us to raise $16,000, we're starting off at $48 or 48, whatever I said a while ago, $48 or
43.
Yeah, something like that.
There.
It's somewhere $43, $48. And I'm okay with not having any money in the bank. I'm not okay with knowing that there's a veteran waiting right now.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, his name is Guy. I won't give his last name because I didn't ask permission. But I know that he put in an application with another nonprofit that we've worked with called the Independence Fund, and they're waiting. They're a national nonprofit. That means their name is out there. It's been out there. They are waiting for funding to be able to provide him a chair.
Yeah.
Which could be 5 months. It could be 6 months. It could be a year. And to me, I don't want him to have to wait. He's a neighbor.
Yeah.
He lives right here near me. And, he's somebody that he was in the Navy. He was a postman. Is that how you say it? And he needs a chair. He wants to be able to get out in his yard.
Right.
The veteran that we gave a chair to in Tupelo is a 73-year-old Air Force veteran that had MS and loved to dove hunt and was going to have to give up dove hunting because he's confined to a wheelchair, and no wheelchair that he had could get him out to the dove fields.
Yeah.
Well, now he has a wheelchair that he can go out in his yard. If it's muddy, he can go out, to the dove field. He can go where he wants to go.
Right.
And that's what we want to do, is we want to help veterans. And we don't just help the veteran itself. If there's a child of a veteran that needs help, or if somebody comes to us and says, that's why I have no money in the bank right now, is because somebody came and said, this veteran needed food. And then another person called me and said, we know of a veteran we're wanting to work on a project to build him a ramp and put a cover. And he was World War II veteran, and we had money in the bank, and I'm like, well, they need $1,200, and we had $1,200,
Yeah.
and so that's
awesome.
kind of what we do is I have a goal, of 16, but if I have 20, I know that I can put that 20 to use.
Right.
Mhm.
And if you've got people out there listening and they say you have not because you ask not,
Right.
I'm not asking for let me back up. I will ask for somebody to write a check for $16,000,
Mhm.
but I couldn't personally write a check for $16,000. I don't know about y'all,
Yeah.
No.
but
Yeah.
that well is dry.
if I get 16,000 people to donate
Right.
$1,
Yeah.
I've got $16,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I tell anybody that's listening, if you've got $1 or you've got $16,000, every bit of it helps. And I can say without a doubt, just so I can be 100% transparent, is when we started our own nonprofit, there's expenses to go along with that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of nonprofits that'll take in donations and say, well, we're going to put 15% towards overhead and 80% or 85% towards the veteran.
Mhm.
I can say, because we work on a sponsor/donation budget. If you write a check to me right now and you say it's a donation, 100% of that donation goes to help veterans. Not a penny of it goes for expenses. Every expense that we've had starting our own 501c nonprofit and everything that we had to do to brand that and do all we did was paid for by sponsors. I don't get paid when I go on a trip to do an event in Tampa, Florida. That's covered by sponsors. So if somebody writes a check, it goes, or cash or online, which we'll give out that information in a minute, 100% goes to help veterans. Unless they say, Scott, I know you're going to Texas and you get gas money, so here's gas money.
Yeah.
I mean, we, as a veteran, I cannot raise money for veterans and it not go help veterans.
Yeah.
Right.
There's just, to me, it cannot work that way.
That is awesome.
And so I've got a board that is 100% behind that. None of my board members get paid. The only person on my board that gets anything, and it comes out of the sponsor portion of it, is I have a student advisor on my board. And we rotate that. It's a senior every year, and they get a $500 scholarship because they put in the effort and they help raise funds, and we want to help them when they go off to college. But that is the only board position that we have that gets any kind of financial compensation from the board. And really, for the work that my board does, I mean, $500 is not a lot of money, but they don't care. They're in it for the veterans, and so that's
awesome.
That's kind of why we do what we do.
Yeah. Well, appreciate your transparency on 501c and all that y'all doing in the community. And you brought up some valid points that we don't think about, that, the things that the family goes through as well as the veteran, or if they're currently serving. I mean, the family at home, they have needs too. And that's why you hear people say that, the family served as well.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of truth to that. And those are things that you didn't even consider or didn't think about until you were in that position. And a lot of us will never know what that feels like. But I do appreciate your insight on that, because now I have a better understanding of certain things that I didn't know about, what a veteran may go through. And I have a cousin that served, a first cousin. My grandfather was, he's passed on now, but served. And, so I don't have really a direct idea of what a veteran has to go through, and or their family, because immediate family, but and that's something that we don't probably think about, but just hearing that is just like, I want to help, in any way that I can personally, and I hope that y'all that are listening will want to help as well, and get involved, and let's get Guy that chair.
Well, and I will tell you, if people get to write into y'all and ask questions and make comments, you're going to get somebody that's listening that's going to say, well, they served in the military, the government should help them.
Yeah.
I 100% guarantee with that comment. Yeah. But if I stop at understanding and agreeing with that comment, then I've done nothing. Yeah. Because I cannot like the system all day long.
Yeah.
But if the system is broke and all I do is not like it, then it
Yeah.
does no
Yeah.
anybody any good.
Yeah.
So my job is not to replace what the government can or should do. My job is to fill a gap.
Right.
And to ask other people to come alongside me and fill that gap.
Right. Well, it just goes back to the other organization. They're waiting on funding.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait on funding. We can help now. You know, we can donate time, we can donate money or whatever there needs to be done now in our own communities. We don't have to wait for somebody that is somewhere else. We can do it right here for the people that are around us, because there are a lot of veterans that are needing things just around us, just down the street, or or at where you frequent all the time. There's somebody there that needs help, and like you said, they may not be wanting help, and they may look like they're doing fine, but this is a way to help those people without infringing upon that. The cousin that I have is a veteran, and he just tells me about different things that he has to go through just to get funding from the government, and different things like that, and the time that it takes. I've heard customers come in just at the copy shop, they're saying, I'm having trouble getting this, I'm waiting on this and waiting on that.
Yes, we hear all the time.
So I totally get what you're saying there, and this is a great organization to put our money to use and see some more immediate help.
And the other thing that I definitely it would be a blessing, beyond blessings, to a week from now or 2 weeks from now to be able to come back to y'all and say, hey, we've raised X number of dollars,
right?
Whether it's $100 or whether it's $16,000, that's a blessing. Every dollar helps.
Yes.
And you've got people out there that are watching this or listening to this and are like, I don't even have $1 that I can donate. I want to encourage you. It's okay, but you can help your neighbor.
Yeah,
you can still do for somebody else. I have a neighbor that she has since passed away, and I'm not saying this to pat myself on the back or to say, hey, look at me, but she didn't have a young son at home, or she didn't have the ability to mow her yard. So I'd cut my yard, I'd go cut her yard, and people would ask me, well, Scott, why are you doing that if you're not getting paid? Because it's the right thing to do.
Right,
It's the neighborly thing.
And
love one another.
We live in a country right now that is so divided between race and everything else. And I'm like, if we just loved our neighbor,
right?
If we helped, now I'm not talking about change the world, but if we're helping our neighbor, no matter who they are, what color they are, what their beliefs are, you don't have to like what somebody stands for to be nice to them.
Yeah.
No,
and I think we get so caught up in that, or you don't have money that, I don't have money, so I can't help. Well, I've got, and I'm fixing to have ankle replacement surgery. All right. So one of the issues that I had after I had surgery in April was getting in and out of my house. When you have a prosthetic leg on one side and you had ankle surgery on the other, and the only way to get in your house is steps, it becomes an issue.
Oh,
right. Yeah.
Well, some of my friends found out about it, and they found out that I was having that surgery, the ankle replacement surgery, and I got about 3 months that I'm going to be where I can't walk. They reached out once again to Purple Heart Homes, which was, I kind of got mad about it, but then I thought, Purple Heart Homes is providing the material. Then friends are building the ramp.
Yeah.
And so they're going to build a wheelchair ramp in my house so I can get in and out. But my neighbors didn't have to volunteer to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
We could pay somebody X number of dollars to come build a ramp. And we get so caught up in having to spend money that we don't help.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage people, you may not, if nothing else, pray.
Yeah.
Pray about the veteran that needs the chair. Pray about, because I believe prayer works.
Oh, yeah.
I believe sometimes prayer, I believe all the time prayer is more important than money.
Yeah.
Because God can do things that we couldn't even dream possible.
Yeah.
And
very true.
I say that to say, find somebody you can help.
Yeah.
And that might not be the purpose of this podcast, but that's kind of where my heart felt to go today is
that's quite all right.
Find what you're passionate about and help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
your time is just as valuable as money, if not more valuable.
Sometimes it's more valuable because
and it means a lot more sometimes.
Right. Yeah. So a person, you going to help a neighbor, like you said, to cut their yard, there was not an amount of money you probably could have given her that would have felt as good as you doing that for her. So money sometimes is not, and granted, you do need money to do. We're not saying that. Please send money.
Send money.
Send money. No.
Please send money. But if you can't send money, volunteer your time, like you said, and help your neighbor. If you see an organization that's, coming up, reach out. Maybe they need volunteers for something to help out during the event. Who knows?
Well, when I do my event at the mall, I'll have, it never fails that I'll have somebody come up and throw some change in the bucket and say, well, that's all I got. Well, at the end of the event, every year, I take the change at one time and I cash it in. And without fail, it's always $700-800 in change.
Right.
Yeah.
So your little bit of change teamed up with my change makes a lot of change.
Yeah.
And so the websites and stuff that I'm going to give out today and that y'all will post, it's a $10 donation minimum just because of the whole processing fees and everything that goes in with it. Yeah. So they make it a $10 minimum. Right. However, I have no problem giving out my phone number. Yeah. And if somebody calls me and says, hey, Scott, can you meet me? I've got $3. I'll come to you. I'll take the $3. But never feel like you can't give enough. So don't give it all. That's just, I think we're living in a time where we feel like we've got to hang on to everything that we have because of what tomorrow may hold. Right. And I encourage people to trust that their helping others will not go unanswered.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like I've had the support with my projects because there's good people in the world, but I also think I've done good. Mm-hmm. So it's okay for me to accept help now. Yeah. I think before I used to think it wouldn't be okay for me to accept help.
Right.
Yeah.
But I kind of don't have that mindset anymore because I do know at the end of the day, my wife doesn't have to carry me up the steps after my surgery.
Yes.
My wife doesn't have to help me use the restroom. And the fact that my house is handicap accessible, when I go home after surgery, I know I can take a shower. I know I can get in through my doors through a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to give to other veterans.
Yeah. I've always been a firm believer in when sometimes you'll be out and you see people, asking for money or, food or whatever. And if I feel compelled to help them, I don't worry about it. If they misuse it or whatever, not saying that's what you're doing, but if they misuse something, I don't worry about that because that came from my heart. Yeah. And I feel like the Lord is going to bless me according to that. And, so any situation where I have given, I give it freely. I give it wholeheartedly. And I know that somewhere down the line, I'm going to get blessed for certain, but that's not the reason I do it. I did it because that's what my heart told me to do. And a lot of us do get used to just, well, I don't have it and this and the other. It's like, it's okay. Like you said, a prayer works. Pray that person gets what they need, or if you can't do it monetarily. It's just get involved in some kind of way. However you can be. Everybody plays a part. Everybody can't give money. Well, give time. If you can't give time, send up a prayer. If you can't pray, just tell somebody else about them. Just everybody playing a part, and we can accomplish so much more coming together. I think that's one of the things about me and Whitney's relationship as friends is that we come from different backgrounds. We obviously don't look alike. So,
we're sisters. What are you talking?
I know. Kind of like round the eyes.
I know. Yeah.
I do call you
mom. Hold up.
Yeah.
I thought y'all were sisters.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't. I probably should have told you that before you came in here. I apologize. I apologize because I didn't make that clear that we. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. I know sometimes we get mistaken as twins, but we're not related, unfortunately. But maybe we got separated at birth a year apart.
Something.
If that works that way, I don't know. But one thing that makes our friendship the way that what it is we often have conversation that I don't normally get to talk to other people that are not like me or not from where I'm from, because people get a little bit out of shape or they get uncomfortable, but I'm willing to have the conversation if you're willing to listen. But it takes two to have that conversation. And that's one thing that me and her do is we talk all the time about different things, or she'll come in and say, okay, all right, I gotta know. What's a co-wash? Well, is this and that. Okay, so it just, yes, that's the way it works. Okay, cool.
Wait, what is that?
Co-wash?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm natural hairstyle, and a co-wash is basically a conditioner wash. So you don't use shampoo, you use conditioner to wash the hair.
Okay.
And see,
Yeah,
we
so-
have a
Well, and-
conversation about that and dry shampoo.
Dry
She's like,
shampoo?
I don't know what dry shampoo
I
is.
I was like, well, how's dry?
And I'm
Shampoo's
like,
dry.
It's
And
a
the
white
reason-
people thing.
And the reason I asked that question
Yeah.
is both of my boys are biracial.
Mhm.
My youngest has the curliest hair.
Mhm.
Now you can look at my older son and tell that he's biracial.
Right.
Now, besides the curly hair of my 2-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't know that he was biracial.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I hear people talk about hair
Mm-hmm.
and not knowing, we've not cut his hair yet because
Yeah.
we don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, if we cut it, we're going to get rid of the curls. And I'm like, no, I think it'll be okay. And so I need to talk more about that cold water.
Yeah, we'll have a class after.
We'll have a class
There'll be a
afterwards.
small seminar
And
later.
but, you're right in that
Yeah.
the conversations, and I mean, this is kind of a social media thing that we're doing now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I honestly believe that in the most part, social media is what's destroyed this country.
Yeah, in a
Yeah.
lot of ways.
Because
Yeah.
too many people, where you and I can sit down face to face and have
Mhm.
a conversation, and maybe never be disrespectful to each other because
Mhm.
we're face to face conversating.
Mhm.
Right.
We'll say something online that has a tone to it
Mhm.
that comes across as
Right.
Yeah.
and it just we're past the point of we can agree to disagree,
Yeah.
and that we can agree that just because you see things differently than me,
Mhm.
I don't have to hate you because of it.
Right.
And as long as we can totally dislike and disagree with something somebody's doing. And we can, I mean, we talked about prayer and God a while ago.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go to the Bible and you can see right from wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm beating you over the head with what I think is wrong,
Right.
then that's not the way.
No.
Yeah.
But
No.
to have a conversation, you're going to be a lot less likely to listen to anything I have to say
Mhm.
if I'm being hateful.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're also going to be less likely to listen to what I say if I'm being fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But face to
That's true.
face,
Right.
You can read people.
Yeah, you can read
and
people.
you can-
Yeah. Body
so-
language, all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean,
Yeah.
I told you I like to talk, and we could
Yeah.
go.
I mean, and I
but-
just want to say that I love the both of you, even
Appreciate
though you're Ole Miss fans.
Yeah,
I can
appreciate
say
you.
that
well, that I
with
was
the whole heart. And you don't say nothing. You don't have to say a word.
look. I'm married a Mississippi State grad.
Oh.
And I will tell you that woman
that is the
can
best thing
irritate
you've
the
done.
stew out of me because she doesn't watch a bit of football. She
Oh.
will not watch football all season. She could care less
Oh,
about
Lord.
sports. She don't even know what a quarterback is. All right. But come Mississippi State and Ole Miss game,
Hard
she is
yes.
going to talk trash.
Oh yeah, that's. I need to meet your wife.
No, you're
My
staying,
kind of
you're
person.
staying away from her. I'm not ever. No.
We're not encouraging
We're not
this.
encouraging this.
That's something I can get behind right there.
And I raised my daughter right.
Uh-huh.
I
she's a
brought
fan.
her up in a
Mhm.
Ole Miss home.
Mhm.
I had her saying hotty toddy. I had her saying go
Had
Rebs.
wearing all the
And
powder
all
blue
of
in
a
the
sudden,
house.
about 4 years ago, she turned to the dark side, and she is a
Oh.
diehard Mississippi State fan.
Bless it.
And
We'll pray for her.
and you know what? I love her enough that I took her to a Mississippi State baseball game this season.
Oh, wow.
And I had a blast
Yeah,
because they weren't playing Ole Miss. Now, if they'd have been
Yeah.
playing Ole Miss, it'd have been different.
the air's
Yeah.
different over there too. By the way.
I will
It
tell you,
smells like manure.
hey, I don't enjoy going. You're right though. I don't enjoy going to football games at
Mhm.
state,
No.
but I did enjoy the atmosphere of
Mhm.
Mississippi State baseball.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
do it differently.
Yeah.
There's something about that
Yeah.
baseball park.
Yeah.
That's the only section in Starkville, Mississippi.
That one little.
is that little corner that I'll give praise to.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean,
Yeah.
but there is.
Hey, say it again and look at the camera. when
No,
you
I
say it.
can't. I don't want nobody. I don't want nobody to see my face when I say that. Matter of fact, when my wife goes and watches this, I'm gonna fast forward through that
Yeah,
part.
I'd be
right
like,
there.
you don't need to hear that.
Yeah, you don't.
They were talking about
Hey,
nothing.
what? Something's wrong with the video. So,
It's glitching. It's buffering.
We'll put something up on the screen. Fast forward, Scott.
that's it. That's it. I like that. That'll work. I like that. I like the way you think. I like
The problem
the way you
is I'm probably going to be the one editing
Oh,
the
she
video.
is. Yeah.
So
Dadgummit.
Dadgum.
it's like, play this
She's
one.
going to change it. Scott's wife. Pay attention.
That's it.
Don't let them skip it.
That'd be, you know how funny that would be.
That'd be great.
That would actually be
We'll do a
funny.
special edit for you.
That's it. So, but for those that are watching and listening, I'd be remiss if I didn't give out the website.
Yes.
No, go ahead.
My
Go ahead.
website tells the story of 7 Days for the Troops.
Yeah.
Okay.
It tells about who we've helped. And I hope through my website they see my passion for helping veterans, but helping others.
Yeah.
But it's the number 7 days, the number 4, thetroops.com. So 7 days for thetroops.com. But if they're thinking, I really want to donate, they can click on that link. And I don't encourage you to text to drive. So if you're listening to the podcast while you're driving, but you can also text the word donate to 662-502-5069. And if you text the word donate and send it to that number, then it'll pull up a link to take you where you can donate.
So, I got some questions for you.
I didn't
Okay.
know about these. I'm curious. All right.
These are some questions that I want to know. Okay. First question. Keep your answer short, okay?
All right.
Just because we're getting close to time. Okay.
We might have to do a 2-part podcast.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
swear.
I'm just saying.
These are good.
To be
thoughts.
continued.
To be continued. Yep. We'll have you on when we get all this money raised for you.
That's
Okay.
it. That'll
We'll
work.
have you back.
Yeah.
All right. First question. What motivates you?
Helping others.
Okay. What's your favorite place?
Favorite place? Anywhere that my family is.
Who's your favorite person?
Myself. No, I'm just kidding.
That's what I would have said. I'm just-
Of course.
I'm gonna be honest. I would say that my dad,
Mhm.
because growing up, I used to despise some of the things that he made me do.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, and the way he made me do them. He was never abusive or anything like that, but just he was very hard nosed.
Yeah.
And to this day,
Old school,
Yeah.
old school.
as they call it.
He
Yeah.
he passed away 16 years ago, and there's not a day that goes by that something I do or have to do, I can't think of a way that he taught me how to do it, or how would he tell me to do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so
Awesome.
it'd be my dad.
Okay. Who would you like to meet? And this person can be dead or alive.
Anybody through history.
Anybody.
All right.
Honestly, I think I would love to sit down with Ronald Reagan.
He's an interesting character.
Interesting.
I mean, yeah, just
So let me ask you this: if you could sit down with him, what is one question you just got to ask him?
do you regret going into politics?
That's a good question.
After
Because
being
I-
an actor, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
big shift.
Yeah, that is
Well,
a big shift.
I mean,
yeah.
especially, not to get political, but I mean, you look at what he gave up
Mhm.
to what he is doing now. I mean,
Right.
to be president. And yeah, I say that. I mean, there are politicians. I mean, look at most politicians have been politicians for a while.
Yeah.
That's their life goal.
Yeah.
Don't like all the things that Donald Trump did. Didn't like some of the things he said, but I'm in awe of what Donald Trump gave up to be president.
Right.
I'm in awe of what Ronald Reagan gave up to be president. They walked away from what they know
Yeah.
to become something that they felt was better for the country. And so, yeah, I think that would be what I'd ask him. Does he regret that decision?
Okay. Favorite childhood memory.
Uh, My favorite
Dig it
childhood.
deep. I know you got to think back a
No,
little bit. Take
no,
your time.
I will go. I am.
Dust it off.
Take your time. I know that's
It's
a while ago.
crazy one, but my favorite childhood memory would be the time I rode my sister's bike
Uh-huh.
off the top of my house.
Oh my God.
Well, hold up. Now we gotta have story time. Go ahead and
And
tell
that's
us
how
about
his ankle got injured the first time.
Well, I always wanted to be a daredevil. That was when I was growing up.
Like
I
Evel
was
Knievel's?
Evil Knievel.
Yeah.
I was going to be a daredevil.
Did you have like a jumpsuit?
No.
Did you ever
Oh.
get a
No.
jumpsuit?
I don't think I did. I don't remember having one. Now, I had the little Evel Knievel deal, but I think that would have been it was, when I say it was like the carport of the house, so it's a little lower than the house.
Yeah.
And I used my sister's bike for obvious reasons. It didn't have the bar.
Yeah.
So when I hit the
Smart.
ground,
Smart.
so
He
but
thought
it's
this
just-
through.
that's
This
just-
You need some more?
I'm good.
Okay.
that's just one of the things that I remember from a young age. One of the stupid things that I've done that somebody told me I wouldn't do, and I went ahead and did.
And you survived.
And here you are.
Look, I always wanted to be in the military. I thought growing up that I wanted to be in the military, and the only reason I went in the Marines is because somebody told me I couldn't do it.
And you're like,
Yeah.
bet.
I mean, that was, I mean, really, I joined the Marine
Wow.
Corps. One, I always heard they were the best, but no offense to anybody out
I was
there.
going to
that
say,
not in the
you
military.
dropped the gauntlet.
But when I was told in my senior year by a guy that was looking at going in the Marines that I wouldn't make it, I went and I said, I'm going to make it. And I made it. He didn't, but that's another story.
We'll have him on the next one.
Throwing shade. All right. We'll find him. We'll have a conversation.
What are you grateful for?
I am grateful that God has not given me what I deserve. And I mean that with everything in me. I am here today, and I'm able to do what I do because of the grace of God. And that is what I'm grateful for, because everything I have is because of his grace and his omnipotent power, knowing that he's got a purpose for me, even though if I don't understand it.
Awesome. If you could go back, what piece of advice would you give to your 18-year-old self?
Not to jump off the truck that I jumped off of to hurt my ankle.
Oh, Lord.
So you jumped off.
I jumped off the back of a 5-ton truck, which is a pretty big truck.
Yeah.
And when I hurt my ankle, I didn't tell anybody that I hurt it. And I went like 5 months running on an ankle. What I later found out was a torn ligament. That when they went to fix it, they couldn't fix it. And which is why 22 surgeries later.
Man.
But then again, I say that and I look at who I am now.
Yeah.
And I do not believe that I'd be the man I am today without me jumping off the back of that truck and getting hurt.
And would this even exist?
Would this even exist?
Yeah.
Would 7 days for I don't know. It wouldn't. It would not. I mean, not in this aspect.
Yeah.
Because I know what it is to need help. I know what it is not to want to ask for help.
Yeah.
I know what it is to want to give 100% to something and not be able to because of an injury.
Right.
And so, yeah.
I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And even though, hard times have happened, bad things have happened in my life and anybody's life, I look back and I'm like, it was a blessing. It was, even no matter how hard it was a blessing.
I would never want to change. I mean, I would want to change the hurt and the pain and some of the things that I've gone through in my life, but I wouldn't want to change what happened because I do believe that it brings me here. And a few years ago, I guess my daughter was in high school, and we were having a conversation about something, and they were talking about legacy. And I kind of got a little downtrodden. I was like, I don't really have a legacy. I don't know what I'm not going to leave my kids any money. I'm not going to leave. I mean, I'm not rich. And my daughter at 14 years old, I guess it was 15 years old, she looked at me and she goes, Daddy, you do have a legacy.
Yeah.
You have a legacy of helping others.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's
huge.
when you've got a teenage daughter that will tell you that.
I'm going to tell you, like my pastor says, now you're getting into my questions here.
Oh, sorry about that. Hey,
the next question was, what do you want to be remembered for?
Helping others. I want to be remembered for, like I said, I coach archery. I could care less if my kids at the end of the day win a state championship. Now I want them to, but I want them to be better people because they knew me.
Yeah.
And that's, I think all of our goal in life should be. It may not be.
Yeah.
But are the people that we come in contact with better or worse off because they know us?
Right.
which kind of comes back around to you asked us why we were doing this. And that's kind of the same thing. We want to bring people joy. We want to bring light. We want to help people be less stressed and be happy.
Right.
And we talked about that in our intro. So if you've watched this, you know. But
it's so much that goes on in the world around us. Most of it we have no control over. And, you know, everybody needs a break or a safe space to go to just have that deep breath and just, you know, and our goal and our hope is that they can come here and get that.
Yeah.
I don't care, you know, we can, you know, we've talked about, you know, we want to get sponsored and that kind of thing and whatever. And that's great and all. But honestly, if we don't, I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
Because
we did what we felt like we were called to do.
Yeah, I look forward to this every week.
Yeah.
Now sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, what are we gonna talk about this week?
Yeah. Have you prepared?
It's like, time. This is happening. I don't have time. But it's just when we come into this room, I don't even think about it anymore. It just happens. It's organic.
Yeah.
And I've always said people come into your life for two reasons: either they're going to be a help or a hindrance. I always want to be the help.
Yes.
I don't want to be a hindrance to anybody. I want to be able to help you. And if that's just to put a smile on your face for 2.5 seconds, or to be able to give you money, or to be able to just help you get something to your car, I've done what I wanted and needed to do.
Yeah. Agreed.
Well, my pastor has always said, you want to know somebody's heart? You want to know about them? Look at their checkbook.
Yeah.
And look how they spend their time.
Yeah. My preacher said the same thing.
Yeah.
And I say that to say, are we spending money on football games and entertaining ourselves? Which is nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But if your big thing is over here and you don't have very much over here helping others, then you need to shift.
Yeah.
I am a happy person. I'm not like I'm ready for payday. That's how empty my bank account is. You know what I'm saying? I'm going home and eating a peanut butter sandwich because that's what I got in the cup.
Peanut butter sandwich. I don't care how old I get. A peanut butter sandwich is okay with me, and a grilled cheese. Either one.
You.
A grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
I never ate that before.
I haven't tried that. She says it's amazing.
It's amazing.
I've never tried it. I had to go home and try that.
Yes.
Try it today.
Look, I want to open a grilled cheese food truck. Totally off topic, but
we'll talk about that.
We're down.
Cheese food truck.
That would make me happy.
All I have is grilled cheese and French fries.
That'd make me happy.
I mean, specialty, like, okay, let me get the grilled cheese with the jalapeno.
No, you can have, but a grilled ham and cheese, I've got the food truck idea.
Yeah.
I just need the funding to make it happen.
Right.
Why does a grilled mac and cheese sound good?
Grilled mac and cheese.
That sounds amazing.
Hey,
put that on the menu.
Fried egg and cheese.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many. Grilled cheese.
You gotta make this happen.
I could be like the Forrest Gump of grilled cheese.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Different way,
And it would all go, profit would go to help veterans. Just saying.
That's awesome.
I gotta have the trailer. I just gotta have the trailer. I
like this idea.
Yeah.
I'm 100%
down.
behind that one.
if what y'all do is bring joy to one person, then you've succeeded at what you know.
I agree. Yeah.
And I wish sometimes that we would turn the TV off and quit letting other people tell us how to think.
Yeah.
And just have conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about the cultural differences by the way you were raised, the way one of the things that I love about the African American community is when you go to an African American community, you see people sitting out in front yard talking, cooking, barbecuing.
Yeah.
Us white people, we sitting in the house in the air conditioning.
Yeah, we are.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, we want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
We'll go to sports, but just sitting out in the neighborhood doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. You're right.
Yeah, we don't. I mean,
now I will say that I had my first bonfire right here.
Yeah.
Never experienced that in my life. Kind of a little weirded out a little bit. She'll tell you. I called my cousin and said, "Hey,
she called him on FaceTime.
I'm here.
These are the white people I'm with.
These are the white people that I'm with. If something happens, you know how to locate me. This is Whitney. This is John."
She had never had a s'more. We got her to get a s'more, and she was all excited.
See, I'm not a s'more fan.
I don't like them.
I like some.
I don't like them.
You give me a marshmallow and let me to catch it on fire and then eat it, then I'm all about that marshmallow.
I just don't see it. I don't get the point.
You had to experience.
You had
I mean, we can do a
experience
weenie roast. I'm
Yeah.
all about it. You
Yeah,
know,
we had the hot links that night too.
too.
Yeah.
Did you have good conversation around the bonfire?
Always.
time.
See, that's
Always.
that goes
Yeah.
back to the warrior bonfire thing that we were
Yeah.
talking about earlier. I mean, there's conversation that you can have in settings like that you wouldn't even have sitting at this table here.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
true.
So, but yeah.
I'm when I was younger, you know, I wanted to go out and do this and that. I honestly, really now, and I don't know if age has anything to do with it or what, but I enjoy that kind of stuff more now than I've ever had.
A deep conversation.
We don't have to go nowhere. Let's
Yeah.
just go put something on the grill. Let's sit outside and just have conversation, laugh, joke, listen to music, whatever.
Yeah.
I thought I smelled something cooking when I came in.
You
I
did.
thought
You
we were going to have
did.
some food.
You
but-
did.
You can.
We got roast.
but-
You eat
See,
before you
I
leave.
thought I smelled something coming in.
it
I was
was
like,
Yeah.
oh,
I forgot
yeah.
to tell you that.
Yeah.
It was,
It should be ready when
I
we
didn't know
get
if it was
done.
a candle or what. You
No.
know. But so I mean,
Mandel.
I
They're veterans.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mandels, the gentleman's company.
Yeah,
they
the
make
gentleman's
'em.
company. Yeah.
They're some of our customers.
Yeah.
Well, and it's weird because when I came in, I was like, I know her, and like I told you when you texted me and said, hey, can we talk or whatever you said, I'm like, well, sure. And I thought it was a different Whitney at the time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then after I talked to you, I figured out, no, that's not who I thought it was.
Yeah.
But I still had your number saved in my phone. So
Which is crazy.
which is crazy.
The Lord put it in there.
Yeah.
And I don't have a last name. So usually if it's a first name only,
Mhm.
it's because I've met you once about something and we said, hey,
Yeah.
call me if you need something. And I did have something printed. And I think I had to text you something or send you
Probably.
something. And so I saved the number. But yeah, so I mean, a small world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you guys keep doing what you're doing. Whether you have 5,000 listeners or you have 5 listeners.
Yeah.
Because the 5 people that are tuning in are the 5 people that need to hear what you're saying.
True.
True.
So, and there's 5 people that can write. No, I'm just
Yeah. That can write a check.
and I say that. I mean, I did an event and I'm bragging, but I'm not really. God did this. I did an event in Denver, Colorado, a couple of months ago, and before I went up on the tower, and when I do an outside event, I didn't even tell you. I build a tower out of scaffolding. I camp out up on top of it for 7 days without coming down. My feet don't touch the ground.
Mhm.
When I do the event in the mall, the only place I go is to the bathroom and then back to the stage. But the location, what I now know that I was in Denver, was not ideal for the time of the year that I did it.
Ooh.
And we only raised like $3,000 at the tower. However, the night before I got to go up on the tower, Warrior Bonfire, which is who I was doing the event for, was hosting a dinner.
Mhm.
They said, hey, you can get up and tell people about your event. I'm like, okay. I said, but I'm here, so why wait until tomorrow to start raising money? I had a goal of raising $30,000.
Yeah.
At the event, in 12 minutes, I raised $27,000.
I saw that on your website and I was like, what?
Yeah,
That is
$27,000.
That is awesome.
Just because I asked.
Yeah.
And so I always ask. I got a 50-50 shot. If I ask you for $1,
Oh, yeah.
that you're going to give me $1.
Yeah.
So I never miss an opportunity to ask. And it's crazy how many people, I mean, in 16 years, 7 Days for the Troops has raised over $270,000 and given it all away.
Yeah.
That's
is awesome.
amazing to
It
me.
is.
Yeah.
That just an idea.
Right.
So if you have an idea to whatever it is to help people, go with it because you never know 16 years later how big of an impact it's going to make.
Yeah.
It's really true.
So with your
True
podcast,
things.
you never know what kind of impact you're going to make. Because I found out about your podcast because somebody else commented about your podcast, Cody Weaver.
Yeah.
And so
He was the star of last week's.
so,
Well, the
Him and his-
one before that.
Yeah,
but
him and his fire.
but yeah, Cody's a good guy. But I'd say that to say never stop doing what you're doing because you don't think you've got followers or sponsors or because you never know what's going to be said at during your time that will trigger somebody else to do something different.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
So
I also like to say that we did make Little Jesus. Very happy today. We've mentioned his name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We had a lot of that going on today, which I'm all for. That's one thing that
Yeah.
I also like about me and her relationship. We talk about the Bible, we talk about everything, but we did want to make some ground rules when it comes to our podcast. Is we didn't want to mention politics. That's a messy enough pool. We don't need to be in it.
Yeah.
Well,
but anything outside of that, we pretty much would talk about. You know, and so if I can't talk about the thing,
you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah, we'll edit that out. Not playing. No. But no, I mean, I know it's gonna probably come up, but we don't want to like deep dive into that pool and stuff.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Too diverse.
It's too much across the board. I don't want shouting match in the comments. I don't want none of that.
I don't care what.
I want to bring joy, light, and laughs. That's it.
Yeah.
that's the motto.
I tell people all the time, politics has gotten way too political for me.
Oh yeah,
it's so. Yeah. Let's talk about Jesus.
Yeah,
and let's talk about helping people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I completely understand that concept.
What church you go to? Go shout them out.
I go to West Jackson Street Baptist Church, what I love about that church is, we are a church that is all about the community and missions, not inside the walls of the church. Awesome. If our thing as a Sunday is just coming and to hear the word, then we're missing the point of what the church is all about.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about our pastor. I love about our children's ministry.
What's your pastor's name?
Keith Cochran.
Keith Cochran.
Our children's minister is Lisa Hoffmeister, and she has set up a program where we're able to reach out into our community and do events that bring people that may never walk in the doors of a church.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we should be about, because there are some people that have been hurt by the church.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me rephrase it. No, they haven't been hurt by the church.
The people in the
They've
church.
been hurt by people in the church.
Yeah.
But I tell people, and my pastor said this, and I've heard it said, you get hurt by people at the bar. You get hurt by people at the ball field. You get hurt by people at the ball games. But guess what? You still go to the bar. You still go to the ball games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so don't stop going to church because somebody hurt you.
Yeah.
That's a great way to look at it. I didn't think about that.
But I mean, and so, but I love West Jackson Street. Where do y'all go?
I go ahead.
I'm a heathen right now. I'm in between.
Well, I know I got a good church you could go to that loves Jesus. And from what I understand, you got a pretty good church y'all are going to.
Johnson Chapel MB Church right there in Shannon, Mississippi.
The drummer's awesome.
Yeah, the drummer is pretty awesome.
I wish
that would be me.
I wish you had a set of. Oh, you're the drummer.
Yeah, she's a drummer too.
Okay. See, I love drums.
Yeah.
Played the right way. Well, any instrument played the right way is.
What's your favorite hymn, or do you have or favorite?
Amazing Grace is by far my favorite, and I'm not a.
Are you looking up the Kids Bop version?
No, I'm gonna pull up an instrumental so he can give us a selection.
Well, there's not a lot of songs that I'll break out and sing, because I do not believe God gave me the ability to have people enjoy my singing.
But you make a joyful noise.
I would like to say, as a fellow member of part of the congregation, we appreciate that. We appreciate that, because some people don't know that.
Man, some people don't.
Some people are in denial.
Well,
and
I
know
say that I
is a
joined the
safe space.
choir last week or 2 weeks ago, because my wife's in the choir and she goes on Wednesday nights. And so,
I mean, you're okay in group setting.
Yeah, I'm in group setting. I'm good in group
Solo,
setting.
turn
Now, Amazing Grace, though, I can belt out Amazing Grace with the best of them, because it's hard to mess up the Amazing Grace.
Yeah, it's in that good.
I mean, it's hard. I didn't say you can't do it.
I've seen people mess up some things.
Say some things
that you shouldn't have messed up.
But my kids love to hear me sing, or they, most of the time I can sing "Hark the Herald Angels Sing" to this day, and my daughter will stop what she's doing and listen, because I've sung that to her since she was a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like to make a joyful
You'll
noise.
be back for the Christmas special.
Hey,
yeah,
let's do it. Hey,
but you right
front and center.
Look, I don't know, we're probably running way out of time, but when I was in the Marines and I was in Okinawa, Japan, the general was coming to the barracks, and somebody was supposed to sing "Hark the Herald Angels," and I liked the song, and I was in the laundry room singing, and my sergeant came in and said, and I don't remember the lieutenant's name, but Lieutenant so-and-so needs to speak to you. And I'm like, what have I done?
No.
You know what I'm saying? And I go in and he said, Scott, you're singing "Hark the Herald Angel Sings" for General Hoot so-and-so. I said, no, sir, I'm not. And he goes, that's an order. Well, you can't.
No.
So I actually got to sing, and that was, I don't do that often, but I love that song.
He's like
too,
backstage.
So.
This is your moment. You got this.
You can.
And just because I was singing it in the laundry room,
Right.
I mean, come on. So, but yeah. So explain to me, if we have time,
okay,
the men on the mic stand.
We've had several people ask
the
about
men
these.
really don't have a purpose. It's a failed attempt of doing something.
We were going to use them on our hell board.
Yeah.
It's in the floor over.
Yeah, we pulled that off the table because we figured we was gonna do
We
right.
figured we wouldn't
and the Lord
be-
is very pleased by that.
Yeah.
He's probably not very happy about the board, period. But anyway, but no, these were gonna be the little men that itched you closer to heaven or a little further down, and they just were too heavy to fit on the board, so we just added them on.
Because I'm liking them. I'm liking that red. That red is standing out.
Yeah,
to me,
See, that's my mic. This is her Steelers.
These are Steeler colors.
She likes the Steelers. I like college
and
ball.
it worked out. It worked out great. It was a 4-pack.
Miss.
She got 2 colors that she liked.
And the Steelers.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's staying.
We need
Hey,
to have.
watch it now.
Strange. I can't talk.
Watch it now. We'll scrap this whole episode.
No, we won't, because then we're gonna come up with 2 more hours to talk
Look,
about.
I got one of the guys that helps me. I had 2 guys that took off their busy schedule free of charge and went to Denver, Colorado to help drive the truck because they knew my ankle was messed up. I couldn't drive, so they took a week off to go help. And one of them is a huge Steelers fan.
Yeah.
So I can't bash them too much because I want him to
What's
drive.
his name?
Bob.
Bob. Steelers Nation. Go ahead.
So, but yeah,
Just I had to make sure,
Bob's appreciated.
Yeah. Bob, if you're watching this, we appreciate you. Your love. Don't let them tell you any differently.
But yeah, it's
we're a family.
Uh-huh.
It's a real thing.
Hey, that's
You need
that's
each other.
another, no, I'm just letting them stop.
Go ahead and say what you was gonna say.
The Steeler fans are serious.
We are. We're not like, but wait.
You ain't Raiders fans though.
No.
Because they crazy.
No. Only Raiders that I root for are Red Raiders, okay? But I will say we're not as bad or as obnoxious as a Bama fan.
Man.
Oh, that didn't
Bama
feel good coming out.
Man.
That made my tongue.
Bama fans they're their own.
Yeah.
breed.
I will say though,
Ooh.
I will say Bama fans, you may not like them, but they consistent. There's not a whole lot of fair weather Bama fans. Win or lose, Bama fans are Bama fans.
They were born into it. Every time they win a championship, there's a few more bandwagoners.
Yeah.
Well, they're all in the same family.
I'm just getting.
You might have to mute that one out.
Oh, that's staying in.
That's definitely.
That's staying in.
I just lost any donation.
It's like, dang it.
So you know what that means? State fans, you're going to have to fill in the gap. Okay?
That's
You're going to have to fill in the gap if the Bama fans drop out.
My ultimate goal within, before my 20-year anniversary of this event, because we just finished, this is our 16th year, is to have an event where I do an event at the University of Mississippi and an event in Starkville and have the 2 compete. And then at the Egg Bowl to be able to present 2 or 3 or 4 wheelchairs to veterans.
That would be amazing.
That would be great.
Because,
I've never been to the Egg Bowl, but I think I want to go to that
one. The
Egg
Egg Bowl is great. And the great, I digress a little bit. There's a lot of national fun, groups that you can donate money to. You got Wounded Warriors, you got, Independence Funds National, Purple Heart Homes is national. But how cool is it that this year a little bitty, homegrown, fundraising event was not only able to help provide 2 wheelchairs to veterans, but to also help provide $30,000 to another group.
Yeah.
Not with the national support. I don't know that I want to get that big.
Yeah.
Because you get that big, then there's way too much red tape with it. I like being able to get $50 in and put $50 out.
Right.
Well, the fact that you're helping your neighbors right here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to help other people. I'm not saying that, but you get to see it in your town.
Yeah.
So
they say charity starts at home. So I mean, that's it.
You guys are awesome. I don't know if anybody's ever told you.
Thank
you. Awesome.
I tell her that every day. She don't believe me. I am awesome. Thank you.
Recognize game. Recognize game.
Didn't you feel the wonder when you walked in the room?
I knew I felt something. I thought it was the roast I smelled cooking.
No, that was me.
Oh, okay.
Trying a new fragrance. It's had its effect.
We should have had him one here.
Do the guests get to take a cup home with them?
We did not think this through.
That is awesome.
And I'll go get me another one.
We'll share.
Yeah. Where did you get them from?
They were a gift from one of our listeners / customers. Can't talk today.
Okay.
Those are awesome. I like that. I just
like
thought they were
different shape.
I just thought they were a red and blue cup. I mean, a green and blue cup.
No,
I'm looking at the red man. Sorry.
Man, that old message is really just seeping in, isn't it? Starting to affect the brain and everything. You might need to put you on a list or something.
He's told us he's injured. Stop.
What the ankle got to do with the fact he can't see colors?
Pain affects your thinking.
See?
Like, pain affects a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, totally different. But if you know somebody that is in pain constantly, you have to give them a little bit of grace.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because my wife, we talk about it. I know when I've been hurting, if I've been hurting a lot, I kind of stay away from people.
Yeah.
Because I tend to get a lot more snippier.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't mean to. It's like that.
I get like that when I'm hungry.
Stop talking about my brain.
Well, I'm sorry.
I'm over it now.
Okay, cool. All right. Glad we hashed that out.
But yeah, I just thought they were just blue and green.
We like them. They're cool cups.
But
you can have mine personally. I would give
I'm
this
not
one
gonna
to you.
take your cup.
Yes,
I got a Sharpie. You want to sign it?
You're going to take this cup.
Will y'all autograph them for me?
Yeah.
Aww.
Okay.
You got a Sharpie? You got Sharpies?
I do. Right here.
Because I collect. The reason I like the green is I'm in love with the green M&M. If the green M&M was
look at God.
Look at there.
Look at that.
So my wife, that's every year she buys me something green M&M.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
I mean, if candy can be sexy,
it's definitely that
green M&M.
Yeah, she is sexy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Shout out to the green M&M.
Holla.
He's available for green M&Ms only.
That's it.
Yeah.
Dirty.
Y'all mind with the wrong place there. Honey, I didn't say it. She did.
I said it.
Put another
but
one
I
of
also clarified it.
Put another one of those fast forward things at the bottom of the screen.
We don't want to have to pull up on nobody.
Yeah. Fast forward, go there. No,
well, it's been another fun podcast.
Yes.
Scott, we appreciate you and what you do. Appreciate you coming here, sharing with us. And we compel you guys to donate. Give what you can. Like again, like we said before, if it's not money, help your neighbor down the street or anybody that you know that needs something. They may not ask, but just you taking the time and that kindness, and feeling a need that they may have, they will be very appreciative of it, and you'll feel good about it. I always feel good when I give something to someone, or whether it's my time or money or whatever. I always feel real good. I walk away with a smile on my face, or I've been in tears, one of the two. But in either case, those are all good feelings, and we want you all to donate what you can. If you can't donate, share. If you can't donate, still share. Yeah. Because it takes all of us. It takes a community to make things like this happen and to move forward. Thank you again, Scott. We'll love to have you back when you get your goal reached, and we'll set another goal and we'll reach for it.
Well, I need you. I've got a challenge for y'all.
Okay.
All right.
June 27th through July 3rd, I believe those are the correct dates, will be the next 7 days for the troops event in Tupelo.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to sit down at that event and do a live podcast.
That would be cool.
That would be awesome.
Event.
We have the stuff to do it. We can make that happen.
We can make that happen.
So, and y'all come out and be a part of what
that would be
7
cool.
days. Because 7 days for the troops is not just a fundraising.
Yeah.
It's an event. It is a party in the food court of the mall. I may even get adventurous and move it back outside next year.
Yeah.
So y'all get to come on top of the tower.
Oh God.
She
don't do well with heights.
Hey, it's okay because
stand down here.
No, see,
what they say?
I actually have a lift, and if you close your eyes when you go up, and I've got this big cube that you get inside of, and so you'll never know that you're outside until you look down. So just don't look down.
All right, we can deal with that.
Yeah, that sounds.
Pray about it.
Sounds great.
Hey, what? Tell them what your pastor says about giving.
Huh? Oh. I'll put it in the way of Coming to America says.
Okay.
Although we appreciate the kind that jingle, we always love the kind that folds.
That's it. Love it.
That's it.
Love it.
Holla, y'all.